Hello, I'm your narrator, Wayne Harper.
With color commentary by Bob Martin.
November 6th, Lincoln Speedway brings down the curtain on its '93 season with the 5th annual Turkey Shootout. Bobby Fletcher is among the 32 sprint car field on hand to chase the Gobbler. Slide jobs in turn 1. Todd Gracie hangs on as Van May's racer rolls over one more time. Lincoln King Fred Raymer starts on the pole. URC star Greg Coverdale brings out the red. Raymer's past modified rival Billy Pouch, number 1, surprises many by taking the lead briefly among lap traffic. Raymer regains first on the backstretch.
Pouchy is about as comfortable running second as Madonna is with her clothes on.
As the Zemco number 1 dangles from a wrecker and Raymer's Budweiser number 21 cruises to the win, all eyes turn to the race for second. The 29 of Keith Kaufman gets past the bounding number 8 of Dan Dietrich on the final lap.
Well, down there, lap 20, Billy Pouch, for just a few seconds, took that lead away from you.
Yeah, well, I was behind Donnie, and I was trying not to get crashed. It looked like it was going to happen anyway, and, Billy snuck by me. I figured it was time to grab my hat and get going. And when I seen that red on that last lap or whatever it was, I knew it was for Billy because he don't ever give up. He's a hell of a good racer, and I sure as hell didn't want to get beat by him.
Well, Fred, I think that maneuver you made to get back into the lead was something I've seen pulled on the Interstate 83 a number of times, only it wasn't as successful as your move.
Yeah, I do slide jobs here to win. I started 12th all year. I don't, a lot of the reporters and stuff, they jump on me about doing slide jobs. You watch the Outlaws race, that's the way they race, so if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. I just come to put on the best show I can and do the best job I can for the people work. And like I said, I'm more than proud of the year I had. Never would have expected to win this many races. I really enjoyed it here this year.
Mid-November finds us visiting Bridgeport, New Jersey's sweeping 5/8 mile for an unusual event. You can run what you brung as long as it weighs 1 1/4 ton. Winged modifieds are the hot setup. The number 19 of Kenny Brightbill won the biggest boat award. The deuce of Roger Loreno powers to the inside. The carbureted small block powered 51 of Craig Von Doren took command from his 3rd starting spot. The ugliest car of all may also be the fastest. The unnumbered Nightmare, driven by seasoned veteran Frank Cozy, closed in on the leader before dropping into the infield with mechanical woes. Here's Craig with the Westcott-owned racer after the $2,500 win. That's Tom Toter. The lightweight open competition sprinters make for variety on the late season schedule at Bridgeport. John Eldrith is also preparing his office. Here, John maintains control of the feature in his number 25 after starting up front. Meanwhile, Toter takes a detour on his way to a 13th place finish. The 17 of Chris Ace takes the lead from Eldrith on the 12th lap. Eldrith did not hang on to second. Chris's father, Dave, is planning retirement as a car owner after today's race. The father and son E&G Classic team is going out on top.
Gentlemen, please start your engine.
November 27th, more New Jersey modifieds, this time asphalt style at the Shores Wall Stadium. The Turkey Derby 150 was divided into 3 separate 50-lappers featuring the modified affordable division, which has taken over as Wall's marquee class. The 17 of Ken Woolley Jr. combined 2 seconds and a 4th place finish to be anointed the '93 Turkey Derby champion. December 11th, the micro sprints take over the Harrisburg Farm Show Arena for the Keystone Classic. Steve Wiley is among several flip victims. As the race winds down, the number 7 of Brian Gobrecht leads Billy Pouch and brother Kevin Gobrecht through the fog. Kevin Gobrecht's attempts to pass Pouch yields poor results. Brian Gobrecht continues to lead Pouchy and the rest of the rowdies under the checkers. Indoor racing is often a compromise to pacify desperate die-hard fans during the off-season. One exception annually is the first race of the year, the famous and spicy Chili Bowl in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Over 100 midgets on a full-size quarter-mile of dirt produces 3 and 4 abreast racing in the wide groove of winglessness. You won't find a field of drivers of this caliber racing wingless on dirt anywhere else. Steve Kinzer finished 3rd.
Now this is a way to toss a New Year's party, not to mention a few race cars. Where's Madonna?
Gary Howard and Hans Line crash hard. There goes our own Billy Pouch. One of the favorites was Stan Fox. Marty Davis from Wisconsin. Perry Tripp takes a trip in turn 4. Steve Frisbee flies above the wall. Billy Boat is also flipping. John Hunt catches the cushion. '93 National Sprint Car Rookie of the Year Lance Levens crashed hard enough to dislodge his helmet. Lance, like everybody else, is not seriously hurt. The red number 1 of local outlaw star Andy Hillenberg leads the field to the checkered in front of a sold-out Saturday night crowd. February 9th of the second worst winter on record.
That's the global warming crisis, Wayne.
We retreat to Florida's Ocala Speedway, where the tourist off-season, combined with good old capitalist competition, has turned the nearby resort towns into a land of $20 hotel rooms and $3 buffets. You can't afford not to come. All-Star Sprint Speed Weeks really kick in here at Ocala, where they are celebrating 30 years of paying full purses. The Thursday night feature was led green to checkered by the number 1 of Kevin Huntley. We arrive early Friday night, but with the warm Florida weather, there is already much to be gleaned. Pennsylvania photographer Gary Miller buys a 50-50 ticket. Tim Engler took this endo during qualifying action on a very fast surface. Tim takes that long walk back to the pits. The deuce of Rocky Hodges leads wire to wire, but under considerable late race pressure as supplied by our own Lance DeWeese.
Well, was fortunate enough to be able to start off the front row, and Dean Lindsay, DJ Lindsay had our car just working just right. We got a little bit tight there at the end, started doing a few wheelies and stuff, but, you know, I just want to thank the Club All-Stars and Ocala Speedway for having us here to put on a show like that, because, you know, if it wasn't for you people coming and watching, we wouldn't have nowhere to go.
Well, we're sure glad to have you here at a show you did put on. And you had a little bit of competition from that fellow running in second place. Did you notice him?
Yes, sir. I caught him there, right there with, you know, 3 or 4 laps to go. He started showing me his front wheel into there, and I was going as hard as I could already, so I couldn't really do nothing except, you know, try to keep him behind me. That's all I could do.
The number 4 of pole sitter Kelly Kinzer leads on Saturday night. We have a rousing finish as Kelly Kinzer falls victim to the last turn surprise attack of fellow future superstar Joey Saldana in the Hughes number 94.
Oh, I just got lucky. I mean, on that last restart, they put me back, and I didn't think they should have, but I guess it just made me mad, and it just got me more determined, and I just tried harder, and luckily we got to them lap cars, and Kelly moved down, and I just went to the top and hope I made it, and I just barely made it, but I guess that's all you need, so I'll take it.
Did you know you won for sure?
Oh, I thought I did, but I was just so excited. I just pulled in here anyway. I don't know what happened.
Sunday night schedule gave the fans a break with no time trials. The first turn of the first heat is the curtain call for Rob Cheney. With Brother Dave coaching pit side, Dale Blaney, number 7, goes for it off the front row. One driver not intimidated by the narrow groove or alleged health care crisis is our own Fred Raymer. Just ask Tracy Hoover. As Blaney continues to lead, Raymer and Lance DeWeese battle for second before Raymer catches the cement cushion in the second turn. Now Blaney has a tire going down as the 461 of our own Lance DeWeese moves by on the inside on his way to victory in the Ocala finale. February 16th. A steady drizzle threatens our final night in the Sunshine State, but thanks to a strong effort by track management, we're munching our GP's jerky and watching 60 sprinters warm up at Tampa's East Bay. After warming up inverted on the inside berm, the yellow 22 of Jack Howdenshield rides the rim and lap traffic while exchanging the feature lead with the red 77 of Stevie Smith on the wide groove of a surface that was left dry because of probable rain. Hod has the fastest car on the track, pulling away from Smith midway through the event when the pair found clear track. As the race nears completion, Hod still has the fastest car on the track, but the 47 of Danny Lazowski is the fastest car off the track. Finding traction on the infield, the Dude chased many a photographer in the process of a win that was allowed to stand despite protests, as the Sleaze himself will wax eloquent.
All these fans seen a driver balls to the wall, running his ass off, putting on a good show for these people here that own this place, and they can't even have the decency
what a reward.
The win. To give him...
Evil triumphs over good. You heard me.
Being victims of having to leave Florida at this time was depressing, but we resisted the urges to cross-dress and cry on Oprah.
After all, Motorama is just around the corner. It's a 5-ring circus of very sincere racing plus a trade show, all in the Harrisburg Farm Show complex.
Speaking of victims, clothesless victims of the Reagan era.
Okay, Bob. The girls are helping to raise thousands of dollars for the Bob Corpenning Fund. A good cause is always a major part of things here. One more reason Motorama is now the #1 indoor off-season show in the East, bar none.
Peekaboo. Look what the guys have to go through to get attention, Wayne.
Well, nobody said life would be fair. Meanwhile, in the big arena, the 92 of micro favorite Kevin Gobrecht starts on the first row in qualifying action. We have more of the human elements as the front row tangles in turn 1. Gobrecht's attempt to regain a qualifying spot on the final lap is unsuccessful. Jim Callahan gets some indoor airtime. Larry White, number 67, leads the pack home for the win.
Well, I tell you what, Jimmy McBee and Jake Mays were just waiting for Larry to make a mistake so they could fly right by, because they were right there with you.
I wouldn't doubt that. I kind of went a little bit conservative, and I kind of shouldn't have, but the end results are good, so that's the main thing.
A good night for the white-owned number 67, as Bob Ciccone leads the whole way in the special celebrity event. Did you have fun, Bob?
Absolutely. Anytime you win, it's fun. I had to win, though, because Larry won, and I'd look like a doo-doo face if he won and I didn't.
Lincoln pulled off the outdoor Pennsylvania season opener trick on March 20th. 4 inches of snow and 2 foot of mud greeted a good crowd, and 23 sprinters. The track surface was interesting. Fred Raymer and Billy Pouch continued their duel from last year with one difference. The yellow 26 of Glenn Fitzcharles is in front of both of them. Although eventually finishing third, Pouch pulled the closest to Fitz, whose first Lincoln win was wire-to-wire. March 26th, Silver Spring. 45 super sportsmen are pitside on opening night. Action on the start. Jerry Strauser will race again in the Consi, but fail to qualify. Dittos for John Provenza, who had nowhere to go. Up from the late models, Terry Leininger, number 1, is entertaining. Terry qualified, but only finished 3 laps of the feature. An opening night draw allowed Dave Kalaman, despite driving with a broken wrist, to start the Highlands number 3 on the front row. Dave made the most of it by leading all 25 laps. Continuing with the super sportsman as part of the lid lifter at Williams Grove, which has been delayed a month by snow. The track surface is perfectly smooth here on April Fool's Day. Jerry Strauser is the first driver to get on his head twice this season. Hard-charging veteran Harold White takes the high groove. The 07 of Smokey Snellbaker and the 8 of Rich Eichelberger argue for the feature lead. Rich was in front when he slipped high and slowed with problems. It's Smokey's 56th birthday as he does look back on his way to victory lane.
I lost my brakes on the second lap, and I was going to go in the pits, and I thought, well, as long as I'm up here and nobody's running around me and I ain't getting anybody in any danger, I'm going to stay out here. And Ike went by me. I just left him go, and then he had problems, and nobody stuck their nose up there side of me, so I just thought I'm just going to keep running my pace.
The sprinters pick up the pace. Craig Eschenauer loses his steering. Billy Sims obviously enjoys running hard. Unfortunately, Bill's night ended early after catching a surface irregularity on turn 4. Young John Eldrith pays his dues after catching a tire. Still another Generation Xer learning from the Central Pennsylvania Sprint Car Institute of Hard Knocks is Len Thompson. Despite the alleged health care crisis, insurance covered the expense of Len's trip to the hospital and treatment with a broken shoulder blade. Len landed on a bank of snow and mud after gaining impressive height above the track surface. Randy Wolf looks fast this year, having taken over the Cooper's 25. The 19-year veteran led for 10 laps until the 69 of Donnie Kreitz, hoping for his 4th straight Grove championship and making one of his stronger runs on a heavy surface, made this winning pass. April 2nd, 50 super sportsmen fight to qualify at Silver Spring. Rising star Glenn Yackel loses a battle to control his Ford-powered racer. The 93 of Danny Hager and the 4 of John Stoner started on the first row and finished 1-2 respectively.
Tell you what, though, the party's over. We start handicapping tomorrow night now. You hot dogs up front here, we're not going to have this anymore.
That's all right. It'll make it more exciting that way.
No doubt about it. A tough racetrack tonight. It got pretty slick, and you just kind of wheeled around the top. You had to get by Johnny Stoner there. I think it was better to start second than first, actually, tonight.
Yeah, I really like a racetrack. I'd like to see more of them like this.
Well, we'll see. I like to see, well, when we start you guys all in the back, and it makes it a little bit more of a challenge to get up through.
That's the fun of it, really is.
April 8th was a rare off night at Williams Grove. 33 sprinters are pitside, but warm-ups dumped the engines of McCarroll and Kaufman and also the whole car of Randy Wolf. The remaining cars were split into 4 tiny heats on the big half mile. Even the feature was below par when Fred Raymer started on the pole and led every lap unchallenged. April the 9th is the opener at the Monster 5/8 mile Selinsgrove Speedway. One of a multitude of stock car classes is running in the track as 28 sprinters wait for their turn after a 5-week snow delay. The number 1 of Billy Pouch put on a show, leading the feature before blowing a tire and then charging back for a second-place finish. The number 10 of Chris H inherited the lead and avoided serious impact for the win in the sprint car war tonight at Selinsgrove.
Chris, this is just like old times.
Boy, it sure is. You know, this one feels better than most of them because, you know, we've been having a rough year, and we finally got this car working good, you know, and I got back here on this track where we like to get up and gas her. So, you know, things worked out for us.
April 15th, over 40 sprinters filled the pits at Williams Grove. Keith Kaufman, number 5, leads over his new teammate Craig Eschenauer during an outstanding feature.
Randy Wolf's bad luck here continues, as Bill Bryan's lane changing has earned him the nickname Windshield Wiper.
The Zemco number 1 of Billy Pouch has moved into second, a challenging second. Pouchy makes it stick with 4 laps to go. A little race-ending confusion. The scoreboard says 1 more lap to go as a strong finish by Fred Raymer finds his number 12 taking the lead. But the checkered has already waved, and the winner is Billy Pouch.
I'll tell you, I got a lot of respect for Keith. We drove a lot of laps out there side by side, and I finally did get him, and he caught the inside of me, and he gave me room, and I'll say he's a gentleman. And you know, maybe he was trying hard for 40, but we were trying hard for number 3.
Well, there's a guy coming behind you who was trying pretty hard for 2 in a row. Did you know Fast Freddy was back there at the end?
To tell you the God's honest truth, I was so intent on getting Keith, I didn't even know what lap it was. When Raymer got me, I thought the race was over, and he won.
Billy, about a year ago at this time, you had to be questioning yourself a little bit. You were giving up just about a guaranteed $2,300 every Friday night at East Windsor to come and race sprint cars at Williams Grove. Things weren't going that well for you, but it's got to be a whole lot more fun right now.
It's funny. I've run modifieds for so many years, and they're so much more comfortable than a sprint car. And you know, to get in a sprint car, I mean, to go sideways, pull wheelies, do, you know, all kind of crazy stuff like that. It's the wildest car I ever driven, and I've driven a lot of different cars. But yeah, I had my doubts last year, and about midway through the season, it started to turn for us, and we started gelling together real good. And you know, we went out and learned a lot on the road with the Outlaws come back, and I thought that made us a lot sharper. But you know, it's a tough place to Grove on a Friday night. It's about the toughest place you'll find.
April 16th, Lincoln. The 77 of Howie Locke takes the first position from Richard Lupo Jr. early in the 25-lap points handicapped feature. Raymer started 12th, as usual, but he has a problem. The feature is non-stop. The final lap, Raymer is second in closing, but Howie has his first big block sprint car win in only his 5th start.
Non-stop helped. You're used to traffic. You've been in that before at other tracks similar to this. But you had a red number 12 that got awful close at the end.
I wasn't looking at gauges. I wasn't looking at nothing at the end. There wasn't time for it. You get around a lot faster than you're doing a sportsman, and after like 15, 16 years in a sportsman, it's hard to break those habits, and hopefully I'm starting to shake them. I really hope so. My dad has not been here for the first feature win in any class for the last 3 years. Tonight's the first night he missed. He went to camp and we won.
If you think things have been a little slow so far this year, that will change as the Cars Sprints open their season with action in the first turn of the first heat. Greg Libby is upside down, but will return to run the Consi in the same racer. Brian Paulus lays it over. Greg Cuck in a backstretch cartwheel. Wade Kemp is having a bad hair day, bumping Scott Osherman and spinning. And now bumping Scott Osherman and flipping. Scott Osherman bumps Kevin McNew and flips. Veteran Randy Ruth from nearby Thomasville took the lead early for an easy win.
I know Jim Strasbaugh here. He said, we're going to win the opener. And here you are.
Yeah, everybody was on him last week because we didn't come up here and practice. And he said, well, hey, he said, the car's ready. He said, now, I know my driver's not Steve Kinzer, he said, but he doesn't need any more practice.
Penn National. The Sunday night home of the Modifieds gets its twice-delayed opener in the record book on April 17th. The 57 of leader John Kellner makes contact with Craig Von Doren before Von Doren took over on the 14th lap. But it's not over yet. Billy Pouch, number 15, started 22nd and shows us what modified racing is all about by taking the lead with 7 laps to go. It's the 62nd career PN win for this dirt artiste.
April 22nd. What better way to celebrate Earth Day than with a face full of mud?
Cars actually have the same number of limits that the regular sprints have. They're just different limits. The quarter-mile Path Valley is the perfect arena for exciting bull-in-a-china shop-style sprint car racing. The number 50 of high-flying Brian Seidel is leading, having started outside the front row. The number 07 of Smokey Snellbaker has come from 13th in the low groove to challenge. A late race restart found Seidel pulling pit side with lack of oil pressure. Smokey inherited the lead and never looked back on his way to his first Cars win of the season. April 23rd, 140 miles but only one traffic light from Harrisburg is the historic Cumberland, Maryland Fairgrounds in the shadow of a scenic West Virginia mountain. The well-run half-mile has recently become successful presenting stock cars on Saturday nights. A full house fills the classic grandstand for the opener, featuring a visit by the United Racing Club sprinters. The number 669 of last year's champ, Dave McGuff, took command of the smoothly run event, smoothly until the final lap. Tom Capey spins on the backstretch in front of the field. Everybody avoids the helpless racer except Brian Brittingham, who shows the stock car fans some sprint car gymnastics. Brian's uninjured, but having had his tow vehicle break down on the way to the track, was a shoe-in for Hard Luck Award of the night. Meanwhile, things are much better for Dave McGuff in the Cumberland victory lane. April 23rd, Penn National. The modifieds are putting on a show.
From sprint cars to modifieds. Now this is my kind of multiculturalism.
The race for the lead midway through the feature is between the number 10 of Scott Albert and the number 114 of Steve Botcher. Albert wins this argument, but here comes Billy Pouch from the 15th starting spot. Pouch took command on the 22nd of the 25 laps for his second win in a row here. "39 Cars sprinters are pit side to wind out nicely in front of a full house tonight at Penn National. Moon Mullen is backwards at a bad place. Scott Osherman is inverted for the second weekend in a row. Brian Seidel does not drop out and is fast enough to dominate tonight's feature. It's Brian's second career Cars win, the other taking place here at Penn National last year. Friday, April 29th. It's Take Your Daughter to Work Day.
Indeed, show her the hell to pay if she doesn't marry a rich guy.
The four-cylinder late models have been the lifeblood here at Path Valley. The feature for these competitive little stalkers will go to the 34 of Bob Dunn after Corey Shaw and Bobby Allison tangled just behind him. Meanwhile, over at Williams Grove, 17-year-old Cliff Bryan already has his priorities in order.
Cliff, we were wondering, come at the end of May or the beginning of June, are you going to substitute trading in your super sprint car for a tuxedo and go to your, I guess it'd be your junior prom?
Well, I thought about it, but we made the commitment to run here at Williams Grove, so I guess racing is more important.
Well, there you go. Cliff Bryan, a dedicated racer, always on the edge.
Here Cliff puts his number 16 through turns 3 and 4. Steve Kinzer has just won IROC, and the Wolfgang lawsuit is disappointing most of the racing world as the Grove sprinters carry on. Dan Dietrich gets over Bob Bennett's tire.
Trouble in turn number 1. Trouble in turn 1. John Armstrong second.
The restart, and now Bill Bryan gets over Bob Bennett's tire. Terry McCarroll's last feature ride in the Weikert Sprinter leaves Terry listing 90 degrees in the third turn. Joey Borich, number 7, loses the lead to Joey Kuhn on the 5th lap of the May 6th feature. Lance DeWeese has come forth from mid-pack to pressure Kuhn's deuce. A lap 10 restart, and the 461 of DeWeese takes over. Fred Raymer, number 12, moved into second, but comes up short on Lance, who is fast becoming one of the top racers in the country.
I guess you know you can't make any mistakes when Freddie Raymer's behind you.
No, Freddie runs real hard here, and he's a lot of fun to race against, and he dove in underneath me there on that one restart. Then with 2 laps to go, I think it was, I got bobbled with a lap car a little bit, and I hammered in going into one pretty good because I knew Freddie would be hammering in there.
He sure was. He wasn't too far back, and anytime you've got him behind you, you know you got to stay on your toes. Lance, an excellent job, and I know we're going to be talking to you again before too long. Sure would be nice to do it the night the Outlaws were here.
It sure would, and I'd just like to thank my car and his wife and the whole crew, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to put the shows on for you people up there, and that's what it's all about. It's not about the winning or losing. It's just about having fun and doing what we love to do, and me and Raymer right now are loving what we do.
Hagerstown presents a World of Outlaw show on May 8th, paying $25,000 to win. Sweeping Fast Hagerstown is in Maryland, but the Central Pennsylvania circuit is actually centered in southeastern Pennsylvania. Hagerstown's Hist Raw is very much a part of the circuit, and the lack of weekly sprint competition here in recent years is an injustice to all. Steve Kinzer started on the pole with Dave Blaney, number 10, sharing the front row. Blaney took the lead at the start and led every lap. Kinzer loses second to the deuce of Andy Hillenberg late in the 30-lapper. Hillenberg closed somewhat on Blaney, but Blaney's major concern was with the lap traffic. Here's Dave and the family on Victory Lane as the Outlaws continue a recent trend of increased competitiveness. May 13th, Williams Grove. Several lead changes highlight the Jack Gunn Memorial. The 10 of pole sitter Chris H has a tire going down as he leads the number 1 of impressive Australian Gary Brazier. The 18th lap. Brazier bumps the fence after taking the lead as Chris's tire finally disintegrates. With Ace in the pits, the 88 of Todd Schaefer takes the lead from Brazier on the restart. On the 24th of 30 laps, Donnie Kreitz takes over for the win, allowing Bruce to hype the upcoming Outlaws show.
Hey, you know, it's May, and we know what that means. It's almost Outlaw time, and you look like you're almost ready for them tonight.
I think we're just about back. Actually, believe it or not, we kind of probably missed a setup. I mean, I'm sure if the Outlaw guys would have been here, we probably would have been like a 10th place car, but just the other guys had to wait for the other guys' cars in front of us to go away. They went away a little bit quicker than ours. We didn't really get faster. They just got slower.
May 14th, exciting Chuck Reinert is among the Lincoln regulars this year, racing hard here in his new ride, number 39. Chuck's season got off to an auspicious start 2 weeks ago when he was involved in this double tumble with Phil Walters.
No CRA tour this year, but don't call Jack Kevorkian yet.
As long as the regular shows do not include time trial delays and the high point drivers start mid-pack, Central Pennsylvania fans are the luckiest in the country. The 12 of Fred Raymer has come from 10th starting spot, but appears to have met his match in the 45 of Jeff Rohrbaugh. With only 3 laps to go, Jeff bobbled slightly, allowing Fast Freddie his 3rd win of the season here at Lincoln. The cars sprints again have helped fill the stands tonight at Lincoln. Tom Leach swings wide to miss a tangle, but now the wall gets in his way. Dave Ely gets over Greg Leiby. Danny Gross just stuck his right front wheel in the flag stand wall stairway. Then he emerged from the steam bath with a bruised ankle. The 90 of Tracy Templin and the 5 of Mark Richard go at it for the lead. The 88 of Randy Ruth makes it a 3-way cars battle for first. The finish, and it's Templin over Ruth and Richard. Great racing. John Armstrong buckles in prior to the working fans' favorite sprint car only show at Williams Grove on May 20th. Here John puts his number 107 through the turn. Frankie Pruitt Jr. snags the rail during qualifying competition. The feature gets the green. New York's Craig Keel plans to be a Grove regular this year. Here the cricket has a bad night. It took the 12 of Fred Raymer only 6 laps to come from 9th starting spot to slip under the Eschenauer 5 piloted by Keith Kaufman for the lead and his second Grove win of the young season. May 21st, the stage of speed at Selinsgrove. Rookie sprint racer Randy Plummer bumps the inside rail before nailing the outside one. Randy would have the masked potato chip racer back the next week. The 10 of Chris H took the lead from Chris Long on the 6th lap and kept it. Later, the 6 of Jimmy Nace holds off Billy Pouch for second. Chris is the defending point champion here on the sweeping fast turns of Selinsgrove.
It's an innie.
May 22nd, the modifieds stir it up at Penn National. Billy Pouch, number 15, takes second from wall-banging Mimi DeSantis. Pouchy started in the 20th starting spot, and by the 18th lap, he is dueling with Ray Swinehart, number 33, for the lead, a battle he would eventually win. It's Billy the Kid's 3rd win of the season here, in the same number of appearances, and his 64th career Penn National win. The Cars sprints have a full 94 schedule, including tonight at Penn National. When Todd Smith spun in front of the feature field, the near miss is continued until Smokey Snowbaker and Claire Wintermeyer finally piled over. The 77 of 16-year-old rookie Dave Ely is impressive and leading, but the 50 of Brian Seidel is closing in. Seidel took command on the 12th lap as Ely begins to experience engine problems. Ely dropped to the pits while Bob Beitelman is getting hooked up. Big Bob and his number 81 availed the low groove on his way to his first win of the '94 season. May 26th, the World of Outlaws make their first appearance of the season at Williams Grove. Gary Brazier's exploding tire woke up the fans during time trials. Dave Blaney's Ford-powered Sprinter started on the front row and dominated the 20-lapper.
Well, you've had a pretty good tour through the East. It's been very short so far, but you stopped off at Hagerstown a couple of weeks ago, went home with $25,000. That had to be one of your biggest wins, except for the King's Royal, of course.
Yeah, it was a real good one. You know, we enjoy running there, and we had a little bit of success there before, so we were happy to get that one. And like I said, it's always nice to win here, no matter how big or small the race. It's nice to win here.
May 27th, as we say goodbye to Robbie Stanley, the sprinters carry on at Lincoln. Jamie Steffi, number 76, leads the feature. The 25 of new Cooper team driver Todd Gracie and the 16 of Bill Bryan are both going to win their share of races. Here they duke it out for second behind Steffi. Bryan takes control of the runner-up position in heavy lap traffic as we have a caution for a spinning Bobby Howard. The restart finds Wild Bill taking the lead from young Steffi. Bill beat the Outlaws easily here last year, but tonight is his first win over the Lincoln regulars. The Cars sprinters will produce another competitive event. Jerry Speck spins. Claire Wintermeyer again, parking on the wall with little damage. Wade Kemp's second Lincoln flip of the year produces heavy damage. The 5 of Mark Richard cannot quite take the lead from Brian Paulus early in the feature. Brian Seidel moves into second and tries his luck with the dark-colored racer of Paulus. Seidel falls back to third as Richard rebounds to get the job done for his first win of the season. Here's Mark, who's a real gentleman of the sport, with his best friend in the Lincoln victory lane. Susquehanna scheduled the sprinters on May 29th to rave reviews. The 16 of Bill Bryan challenges the 25 of Todd Gracie for the feature lead on the high banks. Bryan slipped on a restart as Todd Schaefer makes it a battle of the Todds. Schaefer takes advantage of Gracie's slight slip on the 11th lap. Now Gracie loses the battle for second to Bill Bryan. Todd Schaefer hangs around for his second win of the weekend. Dan Dietrich finished second as Bill Bryan nursed a flat tire home for third. Here's Todd with a lot to be happy about after his first win ever at Susky. The super sportsmen are always part of the open cockpit specials this year at Susky, where the clear infield allows the fans to see all the racing. The track's a little too slick in warm-ups for J.R. Fry. Stuff happens when the track is perfect, too. Can the sportsmen top the sprint car feature? How about 3 wide for the lead? Here, the 6 of Darrell Schaefer takes the lead from the 53 of Sean Keel and the 11 of Bill Brenner. More to come. The number 1 of Bob Fantasy comes from deep in the pack to take the top spot from Schaefer on the 13th lap. Bob cruised on for his first win of the season. Ron Kramer is known as the Shoe Fly Flyer. We ask him why at Selinsgrove on May 30th.
Well, Mike Dutko, the announcer at Lernerville Speedway, gave me that name because originally he's from the Reading area, and every time we go out there, we take him some shoe fly pies to remind him of home, and he gave me that nickname, and I guess it stuck a little bit. I don't know where they get the flyer part. I don't know if it's because I crash or...
Here Ron takes the Croucher 33 safely through the turn, which is more than we can say about Rick Hench. It was a wild ride for the Darrell Crow-owned sprinter in just its season debut. As violent as this looks, it's just these kind of crashes the sprint cars are built to take, or at least protect the driver in.
After a quick conversation with Barbara Streisand about the greed of businessmen in the 80s, Rick paid $900 for a concert ticket before awaking from nightmares real and surreal.
The first lap of the feature was also expensive. Rod Strout rides the rail. With invaders like Raymer and Todd Schaefer pitside for the Monday Night Invitational, it pleased many fans to see local veteran favorites Jimmy Nace and Barry Camp in starring roles. Nace's number 6 actually dominated the 30-lapper, while Barry Camp held off the 1 of Billy Pouch most of the race for second. Camp faded to 4th at the end behind Nace, Pouch, and Raymer.
I'll tell you what, Jimmy, we had some tough competition here tonight, and you didn't lose anything over the years.
No, if I did anything, I think I just got a little calmer and a little better. But I'm just delighted.
Fans, he's awfully happy down here in Victory Lane. I'll tell you what, it was real interesting. I know the fans enjoyed seeing you and Barry Camp share the front row. 2 veterans. You guys used to race together at this speedway for many years, and it was pretty interesting to see who was going to grab that early lead.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it was Barry there. I thought it was Troy. Troy, he's getting pretty fast too. We can't overlook him. And I thought it was Troy until we had that red light. And then Jimmy said, "Hey, that's Campy we're racing with there." He said, "Get on the gas there." So.
May 31st, Grandview hits the jackpot with the return of the Outlaws after 10 years. A dangerously large crowd pays $20 a seat. Mark Kinzer takes off from the pole. Sammy Swindell just takes off. Mark's number 5 led for 15 laps until the deuce of Andy Hillenberg made this pass. Hang on, as a certain number 11 pursues Hillenberg through lap traffic.
Steve Kinzer, through hard work and talent, has hurt many a fellow driver's feelings over the years, as he does to Hillenberg tonight on the last lap. An irrepressible drive towards excellence has marked Steve as the sprint car driver extraordinaire of our time and netted him millions of dollars during the 80s and beyond. Here's the king now, bombastically insensitive to all his political incorrectness.
June 3rd. You won't find more entertainment for a single $5 bill than at Linda's Speedway. 60-plus little racers star here with plenty of slide jobs and other classic moves during the fast-paced show. The perfect setup for micros. Linda's is the track you've passed just off Route 78 at the 81 split. Stop in some Friday night for multi-thrills. Greg Miller inherited the lead in his Hamilton 77 for his first career win. Greg's the 8th different winner in the 9 races so far here at Linda's.
Quick question. Is this your first feature win up here?
Yes, anywhere.
Anywhere, ever. How does it feel, Greg?
Excellent.
June 4th, Selinsgrove. The Red 3 of Bob Bennett slows with problems as Barry Camp takes the lead. The 14 of Camp led until dropping out on the 19th lap. The 10 of Chris H., who started 11th, scores his 5th win of the season. June 5th, a wild night of 3 abreast modified racing is green flagged at Penn National. The number 15 of Billy Pouch is charging from 15th, passing cars and avoiding tumult. Ray Swinehart is always in the thick. Here's the 4-wide battle for first. Jimmy Hauer comes from 9th to lead. Pouchy is up to 5th now. A spin brings out the caution on the 8th lap. Worse trouble on the restart as Smokey Warren rearranges some guardrail and Dale Gardner is upside down. Kenny Brightbill is not giving up. Modified restarts are traditionally double file and macho. The new leader is Larry Solomon in the number 517 over the 9 of Hauer with Pouch 3rd. Pouch moves into 2nd with 2 laps to go. The last lap, and Solomon holds off the low-riding 15 for his 2nd feature win of the year here. June 10th, Williams Grove Sprint Cars. Wild Bill and Billy the Kid Contact sends Pouch into this endo. Len Thompson, Keith Kaufman, and Lenny Krautheim bang around. A win-hungry Bobby Allen is back on the circuit and leads the feature until the 8th lap when Lance Deweese, the man on a mission this year, made this winning pass. The hot weather is not all bad. Here comes the super sportsman. There's over 40 of them. The number 1 of Bob Fantasy has come from the 16th starting spot to lead in just 3 laps with the help of several restarts. Late race restarts are working against Bob, including this hard flip by Chris Knopp. Smokey Snowbaker has moved into second and challenges Fantasy, but the current point leader prevails.
Really, Smoke had nothing for you in the closing laps. You really pulled away in the last couple of laps.
Well, last time I finished second to Smoke here, so it's my turn this time, I guess.
June 11th, they're racing in the drizzle at Selinsgrove. Port Royal is dark, and Lance Deweese is chasing feature leader Barry Camp in the Blue Angel 14. Tim Hershey experiences surliness. Local fans who brave the elements are rewarded highly, as popular Campy holds off the red-hot 461 for tonight's win. Campy's been called the best interview in racing.
Barry, 22 careers, now 23. That puts you up on the career win list. We were talking a couple times this season. I'll tell you what, you said when a driver has his car hooked up properly and this track is prepared to perfection, this is by far the fastest racetrack in central Pennsylvania.
There's no doubt about it. When it's, you know, has some moisture and a little bit of a cushion, and you have the car right, you can go just as fast as your gonads are big enough. Okay.
30 years in the business, did you ever expect sprint car racing to get this big? I mean, on the national level, on the local level, 30 years, how do you define that?
I don't know exactly how to define it, except that I never thought I'd be this dumb this long. But I just love to drive these things. But believe me, all these guys out here, and I tell the fans this, are spending so much money to do this that it's unbelievable, and it's a tough deal. And everybody out here, and I mean some of those guys that might never see this circle, they deserve to win too, because they're doing everything they can do, and they're all going too fast for an old man like me to pass.
Sunday, June 12th, the Central Pennsylvania Sprinters make their first ever appearance up Route 81 at the exciting third-mile Big Diamond Speedway. This show has been long overdue. A brother act as Bill and Cliff Bryan tangle lightly. Veteran of modifieds and mini sprints, hard-charging Trevor Utt now has a sprint car. Trevor's number 19 looks fast already, despite an uncooperative nose wing. Lots of close racing as Utt eventually meets Todd Gracie on the backstretch. Big Diamond is modified country, and old favorites Fred Raymer, number 12, and Billy Pouch, number 1, will appropriately star in this barn burner.
Here, representatives of the Minersville chapter of the Now Gang greet Raymer in the Big Diamond Victory Lane.
They're disgusting.
June 15th, the All-Star Western Pennsylvania Speed Week offers an opportunity to see a strong field of Midwest stars and cars. The series opens here on the most eastern stop at the Challenger Speedway near Indiana, PA. 36 sprinters fill the pits, and the stands are full as well. As for the action, well, a few shots are worth 1,000 words. Ed Lynch has a problem. Several drivers would agree that slipping over the bank is cheaper than hitting the wall. Our own Steve Smith is on hand in his number 19, leading 3 laps before the deuce of Dale Blaney initiated domination of the 30 laps.
We haven't really been struggling. We've been running good, but we haven't had real good finishes to show for it. And I was kind of glad to come back into my really kind of a home area and do well. And really glad to get off on a good foot and win this first one.
June 14th, we complete our visits to all 3 of Maryland's ovals at Southern Maryland's Potomac Speedway. The 3/8 mile is a rising star, and tonight the URC sprinters are throwing the clay. Troy Stell is leading, was leading. As the 144 bounces, the 24 of Mike Hagenbottom slipped by into the lead. The restart, and the 669 of Dave McGuff is taking the lead from Hagenbottom for his 2nd Free State win of the year.
Meanwhile, up in the land of taxes, the car sprints attack a dustless Path Valley with 11-second laps.
The tacky surface bites back. Claire Wintermeyer is getting used to this position. Randy Ruth and Kevin McNew both get over tires in high-intensity feature action. Rusty Presley, number 5, led until Sean Michael took the lead with 7 laps to go. Sean's yellow 26 led Pennsylvania's wildest full-size racers home to the checker for his first sprint car win.
Congratulations, Sean. I know you're tired. Whale of a race, though.
Well, I can hardly hold my neck up anymore.
Our scheduled visits to Port Royal have met with complete or partial rainouts. Time to catch up. Tom Toter blows his engine in front of Brian Miller. Both drivers are okay. Another view of the destructive incident. Keith Kaufman's stint behind the wheel of the Eschenauer 5 included this front stretch rollover. Lenny Krautheim tests the rail behind Keith. Dave Hahn suffers little damage. We spend June 18th with the Fourth Turn Gang diehards who love the mud and dust thrown right at their collective faces. Rod Strout, 21, led for 15 laps until Mike Wagner, 55, took over. Keith Kaufman, now in the Weicker 29, escapes intimacy with the bottom of Joey Kuhn's car. Keith goes on unfazed to take the lead from Wagner. Now look at this. Will Kramer leaves the third turn and flips all the way to the rainforest. Will is okay and will be back racing at the port in 4 days.
The lead is changing like President Hillary's hairdo as the 88 of Todd Schaefer slide jobs Kaufman for the win.
All in a night at the circuit's most exciting half mile. June 17th, a giant crowd is on hand at Penn National for the Tobias Memorial. Race promoters' version of Murphy's Law would see to it that the biggest crowd would coincide with Penn National's first dust problem of the season. Here go the modifieds. The number 8 of Glenn Strunk and the white 54 of Smokey Warren go at it side by side for the feature lead. Warren opened a lead midway through the non-stop event. Dirt star Brett Hearn is on hand tonight driving the R10 and is passing cars, including Billy Pouch. The last lap. Warren still leads. The 9 of Jimmy Hauer has moved into second, and Brett Hearn is up to third. When Warren slows with problems on the backstretch, Hearn is in the right place to take advantage for his first ever Penn National win. The sprints cut loose for $4,000 to win. Lance DeWeese takes the lead fairly easily from the 88 of Todd Schaefer. Late in the race, DeWeese's tires are in shreds. The final lap produces a close finish as Todd almost steals the win in the second non-stopper tonight at PN. June 19th. Dirt of New York always presents a show in central Pennsylvania. This year, the big block modifieds make their appearance at the Susquehanna Speedway, which is now under dirt sanction. A great field of 40 cars would entertain a packed grandstand. Flat tires were the big story here tonight. The number 33 of Frank Cozy races with Alan Johnson for first before Alan joined several contenders pit side changing tires. Our own Billy Pouch, number 15, made a strong move, opening a lead before de-rimming a tire on a perfect cushion. Cozy ran second to 4 different drivers during the 94 laps, all of whom handed him back the lead as they suffered problems. Cozy was followed across the line by Jack Johnson. Dirt dropped a hint about the condition of their other tracks when they referred to Susquehanna as the tackiest track east of the Mississippi. June 20th, it's a race a day in central PA as the sprinters do it Port Royal style. Selinsgrove star Chris H., number 10, led several laps of the midweek show before Lance DeWeese swept by entering lap traffic for his 4th port win of the season. Terry Leininger, number 1, took the lead on the 4th lap of the Sportsman feature, hoping for his first win. The number 3 of Dave Kalaman is moving up. Bill Heckert brings out the yellow. Kalaman is in second now, and we have drama on the restart. The contact eliminated Leininger, who stopped on the front stretch. Kalaman was restarted on the front for his 3rd career port win. Dave's the only Sportsman driver to have more than one.
This division's getting awful tough. The cars are so equal and the guys are driving so hard. It's just really tough to get up through the pack.
Well, I know you were a little bit unhappy during the heat race, but it looks like everything panned out for you in this feature event. Not only that, you're second in this Budweiser Tour Points Fund, and I'm sure these valuable points add up this evening.
Well, I'm not sure where the 1H car finished tonight, but even if it finished second, I think we came close to overtaking him, so I think we got the point lead back tonight.
June 22nd, Williams Grove presents the Gone Memorial. After several weeks on the edge, Australian Gary Brazier lands down under. Gary is okay, but looking for a ride. The 1A of Bobby Allen again is the chasee. Chaser, Fred Raymer, number 12, gets into Allen, but look close and you'll see a spinning car instigating this. The yellow is out. The 23rd lap. Raymer is working neatly past Allen for his 3rd Grove win of the 94 season. The limited sprints make what might be their only appearance of the season at the Grove. With 45 racers pit side, we hope not. It's going to be a wild one. Hang on. That's Leon Chimbati. Jim Novinger fights past a spinning Pete Halata before tangling wheels with John Armstrong. Meanwhile, others are clipping and flipping. The front stretch view shows both B.J. Bollinger and Brian Paulus spilling on the inside rail. Jerry Speck also tries the inside. Brian Seidel tears off the right rear. Now somebody is over under the bridge. Oh no, it's Claire Wintermeyer. Claire hung it up for the year. Jason Claus leads the feature. Shawn Michael, last week's winner, experiences the agony of defeat and the expense of 2 bent down tubes. A restart, and Bill Albright leads the 4th circuit. Here comes the 119 of Greg Libby. Greg slips under Albright on the 9th circuit and speaks for many in the Williams Grove victory lane.
It's been a while since we won one, and you know, this is a nice place to win, and we like coming here, so wish we could be here more often, and oh, maybe we will, I don't know.
June 23rd will not be the best night for Fred Raymer at Lincoln. First, Freddie gets tangled up in this heat race action. Bill Case backs up after contact with Wild Bill. Bobby Allen has led from the start, but Raymer is closing in as usual, and the race enters the final lap. The final turn. You cut the corners a little there, Fred. Bobby Allen gives the Lincoln fans a classic scruffy interview.
I tell you what, first of all, let's talk about the scenario out there. It got pretty wild. I'm sure you knew Fred was right there. Last night he got around you with a couple to go. I bet it wasn't going to happen tonight.
Well, I don't know. It didn't happen, so we don't know what was going to happen. I seen that 45 getting sideways. He held me up for a second, and then I seen Fred down there, but then he pulled down, and they got together, and I figured, well, that's it for him.
This team, who are some of the other guys? I know Jim's a part of it, but who's some of the other guys that keep this thing going?
Here I go. I don't know names. Hey, what's your names here, guys?
The Cars Limiteds pick up right where they left off at the Grove last night. After Tracy Templin flipped in warm-ups, and this tangle also in warm-ups, cars settled down for a smooth show. Rick Horn, number 01, led the feature for 8 laps before the number 8 of rookie Danny Jones, who had started 10th, took the lead to become the 10th different cars winner in the 10 races conducted this season.
Since you didn't just beat them, you killed them.
Well, that's what I like to hear. That means we're on the right track, that's for sure. We've been, right there all year and just finishing and being consistent, and that's what we wanted to start out to do. And I tell you what, I love this racetrack.
10 races, 10 winners. What else can you say about this division?
I tell you what, this division is real tough. I mean, Fred Raymer's tough here on every Saturday night, but it just speaks for itself. It's tough to win in this deal, and you can have the best of everything, and the motor rules and the tire rule and everything, really limit the, what you can do, and you got to get the car working real well, and the driver has to be on his toes, lap after lap. And, that's what it takes to win these races. And we have a lot of tough drivers in this field and, a lot of good car owners. And, it just makes it pretty fun racing.
June 23rd, Hagerstown, Maryland opens Pennsylvania's Speedway. Mary Seneff is back on the track in her number 18. Dan Dietrich gets into turn 1 a little hot. Dan raced the same car in the feature. Todd Schaefer, number 88, leads Todd Gracie in the 3,000 to win Speed Week opener. Now the two Todds have quite a problem. The two continued for a full half a lap where Schaefer tried futilely to scrape Gracie off on the inside guardrail. Both drivers remained cool and quiet.
You'll never make the Sally Jesse Raphael show acting like that, guys.
Schaefer was out while Gracie continued his low groove adventures. The benefactor of all this is the 461 of Lance DeWeese, who inherited the lead and hugged the inside rail of the slick track all the way to the win. June 26th, a good crowd braves thunderstorms for night 2 of Speed Week at Path Valley. There's one more. Time trials and a rain delay would set the show up late, and a second shower will cost the fans 4 feature laps of the show of the year. Wild Bill Bryan leads several laps on the perfect surface until running into lap traffic. Literally.
That's Tracy Reniger on the rail considering a donation to the Clinton Legal Defense Fund. Tracy's head soon cleared and he walked back to load up his racer.
Soon after the restart, the 10 of Chris Ace takes first from the yellow 8 of Craig Keel. Now Billy Pouch, number 1, hassles Chris as the track surface peaks. Like Bryan before him, leader Ace has a run-in with lap traffic. Hold on, Smoke. This wry move was not his most popular, but Chris Ace got himself restarted in front. The show of the century gets better as Fred Raymer joins the scramble for the lead, which is producing the quickest laps in all of sprint car racing. The second view shows a Raymer wheelie preceding his cutting down on Pouch. Pouch is okay, taking a walk in the rain as Chris Aish is declared the winner. June 27th, Williams Grove. Speed Week programs find the fans enjoying the heat races and waiting through time trials and a draw, all to determine the feature lineup. The draw kept coming up in favor of the maximum 8-car inversion, and some fine racing continues to delight the fans. Frankie Herr, however, is in a funk. Midway through the feature, Billy Pouch is leading, but the 19 Black Bandit is finally ready to go racing again. Steve Smith looked strong as he moves into first. It's not over yet. The 12 of Fred Raymer has also passed Pouch and comes up just a little short with this last lap charge on the Bandit. A hyper Steve Smith talks with Bruce in Victory Lane.
Were there any particular problems?
When was this?
Prior to the feature, you rolled into pit lane just as the pace car had crossed the bridge on the 4th lap. You were a little late coming out. Was there a problem with the race car at that point?
No, we were just rushing around there trying to get ready, make up our mind which way we wanted to run it. So we kind of set up for the beginning of the race, and we knew we'd be a little loose here at the end, but it paid off.
An outlaw-sized crowd surprised many by showing up for the Friday night Grove Speed Week sprint-only show. Therefore, Murphy's Law dictated that the fans' luck with the draw would run out. Fred Raymer started third and walked off with the $10,000 to win Mitch Smith Memorial. June 29th, Cars is at Selinsgrove, and so are we as we avoid time trials. Jim Novinger leads. Hank Katz was running second. The number 119 of Greg Libby is right there on the last lap, but Novinger's luck holds up for a change. It's Jim's first win ever.
Okay. Yep, great.
July 3rd. Despite threatening weather, another capacity hot weather crowd knows they're in for a good show as 40 super sportsmen join Speed Week at Susquehanna. Here the self-starting sprinters present their own brand of tough, efficient qualifying heat races on this perfectly sized arena for the sportsmen. It's another great Susky surface to boot. The 4th feature lap. Watch as the number 101 of sportsman veteran Harold White gives up the lead to the white 42 of up-and-coming J.R. Fry. The 12th lap. Fry was enjoying a healthy lead when his racer gave up the ghost as Rich Eichelberger inherits the lead on the backstretch. Eichelberger's number 8 continues the lead, but the number 10 of Donnie Beaver, who like Eichelberger started well back in the pack, is challenging. After several laps of good, clean, hard racing, Beaver moved in front on the 16th lap. Beaver led the last 4 laps, getting his belly rubbed in Victory Lane. The sprinters continue their Speed Week series. Chuck Rohn bends his wing during time trials. Rod Strout bends his wing in more traditional style during a heat race. Feature time. Chris H, number 10, will lose the lead to the 88 of Todd Schaefer. And now Ace will lose second to the 461 of Lance DeWeese. Schaefer and DeWeese are putting on a spectacular on the Susky high banks. DeWeese gained the upper hand and then survived this quick meeting with the lap car of Gary Brazier for still another win in his Walt Dyer Sprinter. July 4th, Port Royal regular Vince Snyder has problems with his Clark Video Sprinter's aerodynamics during time trials at the Selinsgrove Speed Week finale. Selinsgrove regulars take over the screen. Joey Burich bounces off the inside rail. Favorite Chris Ace parks on the outside rail. The Zemco number 1 of Billy Pouch started up front and stayed there as Fred Raymer's third-place finish cinched him the Pennsylvania Speed Week championship. Cameraman Fred loves lots of cars and never misses Ohio Speed Week, the original summer Speed Week. Paul Weaver from here in Ohio records a poor time at the Millstream opener on July 3rd. Scott Miller rebounded from this heat race flip for a pair of top 5 finishes the following nights. The average pit count for the 7-night series was 51. Confusion in the C main. Danny Smith flips in the feature just before Kevin Huntley, number 1, took the lead from the 94 of Joey Saldana.
Kevin disappeared like a middle-class tax cut.
Monday night at Buckeye, all the feature starters finished, including Rodney Duncan. The number, or letter, X of local star Mark Keegan takes the first position from the 03 of Sam Rodriguez on his way to the win in the second night of Ohio Speed Week. Tuesday night, the action moves on to the KC Speedway, where both previous winners, Huntley and Keegan, failed to qualify. It may have been unfortunate for Tim Engler that he did qualify. Mike Underwood is over and out, but okay. Dale Blaney is much better, scoring the win tonight at KC. Wednesday night, everyone is all aboard for Attica, where a well-run show, including street stocks, will be over before 10 o'clock. Consistent Frankie Kerr wins his first ever Ohio Speed Week feature, as Kevin Huntley beats out the white car of Mike Keegan in this photo finish for second. Thursday night at Sharon was rained out, and Friday night at Fremont was little better. The first turn of the first heat produced a rollover by Mike Bieber before rains washed away the rest of the show. This brings us to the 10,000 to win Saturday night finale at Eldora. Kevin Huntley took control from the black car of Byron Reed to win his third Speed Week finale in a row. Frankie Kerr's 94 championship was his second in a row. Eldora also presented some wild support class action with the local 360 sprinters and the IMCA modifieds. On the way home, a stop at Western PA's Sportsman Speedway, now the only home of Sunday night sprint car racing in the state, is a natural. That's second-generation driver Tommy Quarterson prevailing over a full field of 25 racers. Meanwhile, back in Central PA, the Super Sportsmen are making a July 8th appearance at Path Valley. Tim Kuhn's Deuce is wild tonight. Jake Rodabaugh flips, taking Donnie Beaver with him. Out of the several heat race accidents, only Rodabaugh was out of action for the night. Darrell Schaefer crashes the sprint car racing paper-sponsored Sportsman.
Did subscriptions go up?
Danny Hager, who has past micro sprint experience here at Path Valley, started 14th and took the lead on the 16th lap from the 23 of John Stamen. Danny led the 24-car battle for the lead to the checker. Sunday night belongs to the modifieds at the ultra-modern Penn National. Although the facility is one of the most comfortable for the fans, the action can get down and dirty. The July 10th feature was won by the number 11 of previous track champion Tom Mayberry over the number 8 of Glenn Strunk.
Here's Tom in the line of fire after his first Penn National win of the season.
July 17th. That's the number 54 of Smokey Warren, who has the loudest cheering section at PN, holding off Strunk and then the 83 of Elvin Feldy on way to his first 94 win at Penn National. It's the veteran's 12th career win here. July 31st. The number 10 of Scott Albert from nearby Fredericksburg takes the first position from John Willman and the rest of the 26 starters. Scott had to work hard to hold off the challenges of Ray Swinehart en route to his first career feature win. The Cars Limited sprints are also on the July 31st agenda. Dave Sands misjudges the straightaway. Brian Seidel, who started 9th, took over from the 81 of Rich Carnathan on the 7th lap for his 3rd win in the past 4 appearances of the Cars Sprints here at the aristocratic Penn National Speedway. July 16th, the world's only perfect short track operation is at Silver Spring Speedway. Nearly 50 self-starting super sportsmen entertain a full house. Danny Hager claims his 15th career Silver Spring feature, taking the lead from the black 32 of George Ryden on the 19th lap. July 19th. Some race fans really have their act together. Grandview's Thunder on the Hill begins with a leftover United Racing Club feature from last year. John Eldrith is among several who cross that fine line of speed. Scott Cahill is the only flip victim of the night. Kramer Williamson, number 84, has taken the first position from the red racer of Dave McGuff. The number 28 of Greg Coverdale is making a strong run from mid-pack. Here Greg takes the first position from Williamson on the 20th lap. Greg went on to meet Miss URC in the Grandview victory lane. The open competition feature went to Lance DeWeese. Here the 28-year-old superstar works under pole sitter and early leader Donnie Kreitz, number 69, on the 9th lap en route to another win. July 23rd. Bobby Howard has switched from the super sportsman to the sprinters with ease. Howard gets turned around early in the feature, and that was the leader, Chuck Reinert, losing the position in number 39. Now the 12 of Fred Raymer takes over from Bobby Weaver for his 9th win of the season here. Tim Higgins and the 77 of Dave Ely exchanged the feature lead 6 times before the 5 of Mark Richard became the first Cars repeat winner of 94 by taking first from Ely on the final lap. July 24th, Selinsgrove has adopted a Sunday night rain date. The sprinters head into turn 1, the fastest turn in central Pennsylvania. Bob Bennett leads the first 3 laps of the Ed Schaefer Memorial before the 14 of Barry Camp took over when Bennett pitted. Lauren Arms crosses up in front of Mark Plummer, who nearly winds up on Route 35. Everybody is okay. Meanwhile, inside the fence, Barry Camp has joined Bennett pitside, allowing the 12 of Fred Raymer to make this winning pass to the chagrin of Ron Kramer. August 13th, Selinsgrove. Bob Bennett, fresh off his first ever feature win here a week ago, leads for 10 laps before the 6 of Jimmy Nace took over for his 3rd win here of the season. Let's check in at Williamsgrove. Tim Hershey will not have a good night on July 29th. Even the best have problems. Todd Schaefer wheelies and Donnie Kreitz loses something after contact with the inside rail. Tim Hershey gets crossed up on the start of the feature. Mike Wagner goes for a ride. As we see in this view, there was more. That's Todd Schaefer going over the top of Dan Dietrich in this 20-car pileup, the largest in Williamsgrove sprint history. Fred Raymer has borrowed a wing and is working the first position from the 25 of Todd Gracie. Where'd he come from? Sneaky Lance DeWeese slips by both preoccupied dueling leaders in sprint car racing at its best. Lance had started 11th. Unbelievably, DeWeese repeated his patented winning maneuver on August 16th. This time, the victims were dueling leaders Todd Schaefer and Craig Keel in the number 8. 39 Super Sportsmen are also part of the show tonight, which will be completed before 10:30 as Grove fans never have to wait through back gate powder classes. Likeable veteran Dwight Live in the number 22 came from deep in the pack to beat out the 36 of Johnny Murphy and the 5 of Ron Walborn for the win.
I bet you were wondering if you were ever going to get by that Ron Walborn tonight.
Well, I knew if I get past, I was all right, but he was in the groove I had to be in to get by, and it was hard. I kept trying and trying and trying, and he kept being right there.
It's been said that sprint car fans are to the racing world what Grateful Dead fans are to the music world.
Several of the biggest parties take place at Western Ohio's Eldora Speedway.
Although we've never seen it move, Eldora is pretty much unchallenged as the world's fastest half-mile dirt track.
Jack Hewitt, returning to racing form after near-fatal injuries last year, dominated the August 10th USAC feature, only to be disqualified following the fuel check, handing the win to Frankie Kerr. It's King's Royal Weekend. When the HUD warms up airborne, the competition better look out. After qualifying for Friday night's All-Star show, Steve Kinzer loaded up and didn't bother running the feature. This was not popular with many fans who would get their revenge on Saturday night. Jack Howdenshield won both feature events. The Eldora party continues. The historical big one pays $100,000 to win. That's the 71 of Kenny Jacobs taking the lead from Dave Blaney en route to his biggest win ever. The World of Outlaws autumn swing through Pennsylvania begins at Lernerville on August 2nd. A full house braves threatening weather for the $27,000 to win Don Martin Memorial. Greg Hodnett sends Bill Jones into low orbit. Sid Blanford has his hands full. We have a problem. That's Steve Kinzer on the pole. The start. Just behind Kinzer, all hell breaks loose. Mark Kinzer and, of course, Ed Lynch get the worst of a bad deal. Another view. Australian Max Dumsney is also upside down. Everybody is okay. Yes, Steve Kinzer led every lap, but this bobble in lap traffic allowed the number 1 of Sammy Swindell a quick run at the leader.
Here's Steve now with sponsorship from Valvoline and someone from Alice in Wonderland. Bill Broderick, eat your heart out.
August 4th, the number 1 of Sammy Swindell takes the lead from Mark Kinzer on the final lap of the World of Outlaw preliminary Thursday night feature at Williams Grove.
Here's Sammy with Victory Lane Psychobabble.
You know, I told my car owner, I said, we must have a good car because we can really screw it up. You know, the other cars, it didn't matter what we did. They just were so, they're just always the same. So I told him this one must be a good one because we can screw it up. So if we can screw it up, we can make it good.
Friday night gets the green. Andy Hillenberg gets into turn 1 hot. Frankie Herr is in a funk. The start of the feature finds the Hamilton racer of Max Dumsney upside down again. More trouble on the restart. The world's best drivers are having problems getting down the straights. Joey Kuhn and Greg Hodnett are over, but everybody's okay. Sammy Swindell started on the pole and held off early race high groove challenges by Dave Blaney on his way to another win. A big Sunday night crowd is at Lincoln for what would be a fantastic Woe show. Rookie of the Year hopeful Sid Blanford is earning his stripes. Mark and Steve Kinzer exchanged the lead until Mark slapped the cement and Steve had his 30th Outlaw win of the year. Dwayne Troutman is a Port Royal regular, sometimes when he can keep his engine together. Let's catch up with midsummer action Port Royal style. Troutman may be calling mom again after this tangle. Frankie Herr has steering problems. Rick Hench, now driver of the Fickett 66, is very much out of shape. Jerry Weiser experiments with different high grooves. Nobody drives harder than Rod Strout. Here Rod crouches after contact with Joey Kuhn. Sean Stidfo finds his way out after a slow roll on the rail. July 9th, Lance Deweese scores an easy win. July 30th, Deweese takes the lead from Carl Baker on his way to 4 in a row at the port. August 6th, Trevor Utt leads for 6 laps before Deweese and a new racer makes it 5 in a row. It would be August 20th until Craig Eschenauer would end Deweese's win streak at 6. Deweese did finish second. The car sprinters became semi-regulars at Port Royal as the season wore on. Tracy Templin takes his second warm-up flip in a row. Chad Rhodes does a sidewinder. That's worth a second look. Bill Albright suffered a broken arm after heavy contact with a 77 of Dave Ely. It was the only injury all year in cars. Bill would be back in action in a matter of weeks. Dave Ely takes his spill. July 9th, veteran Tommy Spriegel celebrates his 50th birthday by becoming the 13th different winner in as many races with cars. July 30th, Brian Seidel took the lead from the 80 of rookie Dan Rich Creek before dropping out with problems. The 08 of Jason Claus is now challenging Rich Creek, coming around for the white flag. The final lap was completed by Claus for his first Cars win, while Rich Creek's results were something less. August 6th, the 31 of Tim Higgins leads for 13 laps until the 81 of Bob Beitelman got passed for his second Cars win of the season. August 19th, Bob Bennett leads the first of twin 20s for the big blocks at Williams Grove. Len Thompson's third turn problems were minor compared to Carl Baker's. Carl had been running good in recent weeks before this setback. Chris Ace is back in his father's racer, and along with the 55 of Mike Wagner, is challenging leader Bennett. Chris gets the job done on the 13th lap. Glenn Fitzgerald started on the pole in the second feature and made the most of it, holding off a late race challenge by Joey Kuhn for his first ever win at Williams Grove.
Well, I always look back at the history of Williams Grove, and when you see Tommy Hendershitz and Gary Benhauser and A.J. Foy and everybody else that run here that's won feature races, I'm just glad to be in the category they are, and I'll tell you, I hope we can win some more. The season has really been going tough with us and stuff, and Joey Kuhn here, you know, for a young guy, this old guy chasing me, but for a young guy, that was giving me a heart attack. Holy cow.
Joey Shearer, of course. I tell you, the veteran kind of showed you guys the way around, didn't he, Joey?
Hey, I can't think of anybody else here I'd rather be beat by. I mean, these guys work as hard as anybody every week, and, I mean, he races clean. That's why he didn't get a little back what, you know, other people do. So I race him like he raced me.
The green is out at Lincoln. A triple flop over. Todd Gracie dumps it after contact with Bill Bryan. After a year off, Kenny Adams is back at Lincoln and in winning form, driving the South Scarpita number 59. Here Adams takes the lead from Cliff Bryan. Adams lost a head gasket, and Bill Bryan inherited the win in the August 20th Gone Memorial.
You know, we lost our sponsor, Invest in Hastings, about 2 months ago.
And we've been trying to run our own program and get ourselves back on our feet. I mean, I've been driving way too hard a week or two or a month or two before that and end up getting crashed every time. And we just settled down, and, you know, there's only 3 or 4 of us left on the crew. They're the only ones stuck by me, and they're the best crew I got. I mean, I don't think I can ever remember having a crew like this in all the time of race, and these guys stand by me, and if it weren't for them, I wouldn't be here right now. They put on a lot of long hours.
Wade Kemp has sufficient horses to wheelie as limited as the car's sprinters are back at Lincoln tonight. Rich Carnathan does 1.5. Greg Libby is okay. Articulate Brian Seidel becomes the first Cars 3-time winner of the year tonight at Lincoln.
And I know that the limited sprints have become a very key division for lots of race car drivers that couldn't do it otherwise.
Well, you know, I'm the prime example of that. We were a top, front-running car in the early 80s, mid-80s, and we just couldn't afford to do it anymore. And my father and I and whoever, like the car owners I had at the time, we just kind of sat and looked at each other and really weighed it out and decided it wasn't worth it. And I was about to go into retirement when this opportunity came along, and I think these are neat. You know, there's a lot of guys here that aren't big dollar operations, just mediocre, medium finance teams, and they're having fun because they can tow in and they know they can win. Nobody can roll in. You know, money's always going to be an advantage, but nobody can roll in here with mega dollars and just blow any one of us away because they just can't buy anything better, with the limitations and the rules we have. And it is really a good deal. It's really competitive. I hope they stick with these rules for a long time.
Meanwhile, they're going at it hot and heavy at Knoxville. Fred Raymer, Billy Pouch, Keith Kaufman, and Gary Brazier were the current Central Pennsylvania regulars on the scene. Pouch's 18th place finish was the best the posse could muster this year. Brazier and Kaufman made out the worst, both flipping in this qualifying crash.
Personally, we don't care if Steve wins every Nationals there ever is. We'd just like to see him do it from somewhere other than the pole.
Thanks to a muffler falling off, we got to see the Kings start in the second row this year.
Steve was mad, which means the race was in the bag.
Steve took the lead early from Jeff Swindell, number 7, for his 10th Knoxville crown, his 4th in a row. August 23rd, there's thunder on the hill again at Grandview. 50 laps of it. A good field is on hand. Qualifying is tough. Chuck Rohn was on his bicycle until the wall interfered. Brian Monteith wins the wing toss. The fastest car in the feature is Todd Schaefer, but he's a little rough on the edges.
Todd was up to second when he completely stepped on his Johnson.
The leader is the 16 of Bill Bryan with Donnie Kreitz and Todd Gracie, number 25, closing in. Bryan and Kreitz get too cozy as Gracie gets ahead. Many called it the best Thunder feature ever, as future superstar Bill Bryan regains the lead in the last lap to be crowned King of the Hill. Wade Kemp scopes the competition as the Cars sprints are at Williams Grove on August 26th. Kevin McNew holds a slim lead over the 119 of Greg Libby. Fly-in Brian Seidel rolls it over. McNew's car faltered, and Dale Hammaker is now challenging Libby for first. Wade Kemp spins in front of the leaders as Libby makes out considerably better than Hammaker. Libby had a fairly easy time of it from there on for his second Cars Grove win of the '94 season. Let's not forget the big boys.
Joey Allen may need therapy.
Phil Walter uses up his wing. This helped to spare the car, and Phil raced it again a little later. Although he started 6th, Todd Schaefer managed to lead every one of the 25 feature laps.
You've been Mr. Consistency this year, but on that first lap, you went back to being Mr. Excitement again. Tell us about it.
You know, they've had the car real fast. Last weekend it was fast, and then at Grandview, we come up through, and I spun out on my own, sort of gave that in a way, but it's been a long time coming here, and on the start, nobody went to the top up here, so I got to run, and then I got down here, I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but a hole opened up at the last minute, and I get to lead. When there's a curb up top like this, you want to get there in a hurry.
The third full-size sprint class in central Pennsylvania is the Super Sportsman. There's 40 of them at the Grove on September 2nd. Bob Fantasy picks up his second Grove win of the season.
August 31st, racing carnivores and Port Royalosauruses line up to feed. Bob Weichert had to work a little harder, but like Hillary, has done well in the cattle markets.
Beef Night at the Port 3 is all-star sanctioned. And Frankie Kerr brought the field down for the start, only to catch the wall, wadding up 1/3 of the field. The one of Billy Pouch faces the ultimate Central PA challenge, Lance DeWeese at Port Royal. All-star Dale Blaney was one of the 35 sprinters who could have had a better night. Billy Pouch joins the long list of racers who could not hold off the 461 this year at the Port. A veteran of over 30 years of dirt tracking is Jimmy Schaefer, driver of number 57. We're sticking with Port Royal on September 3rd. The 30 of Darrell Steimling loses the lead to Rick Hench in wild style on the second lap. Can the 66 of Hench hold off DeWeese? No. The Limiteds had some weather problems at Port Royal in '94, including tonight. The rains came a little late for Pete Halata and Rick Horn as the car's drivers voted to split the feature purse. The yellow number 1 of Lusaconee is avoiding the hot spots as the midgets are wingless at Grandview on September 4th.
Wingless midgets, that's almost as dangerous as eating popcorn at the movies.
Liquid Lou Saccone Jr. took the lead on the 4th lap and dominated for his second American Racing Drivers Club win of the week. Maybe it's the pretty paint jobs, but the United Racing Club seems to be the favorite of the ladies. Past micro standout Judy Bates, number 121, is fresh off her first URC win. But tonight, the pole sitter gives up the lead and the win to the number 27 of Billy Ellis. The trophy girl is appropriate again. It's Labor Day and time for the Juniata County Fair Classic at Port Royal.
Someone call Congressman Fazio. Right-wing religious fanatics are raising money for their stealth agenda to take over America right here at the fair.
Actually, the church stand is a favorite of many. And to recovering racing columnist Bob Corpenning, we hope to see you here next year.
Even the communists at the DER take a holiday for the classic. There's no dust today anyway.
Rod Strout makes his annual Labor Day visit to the rail. The daytime surface does not trip up Lance DeWeese, who came from 8th to win the 44th edition of the Classic. The stock cars produce some wild action right in front of the packed grandstand. On that note, it's time to head 35 miles east on Route 35 to Selinsgrove for the Jack Gunn Memorial. The 33 of Ronnie Kramer is on the outside, taking the lead from Barry Camp on the 3rd of the 25 laps. Ron continued to dominate until his unlucky 13th lap. That's Ron dropping out and off to the inside as Jimmy Nace inherits the lead and the win. Billy Pouch gets past the 14 of Camp for second. September 16th, Williams Grove. 36 super sportsmen join the sprinters for the filet mignon of open cockpit racing shows. John Stamen loses his steering during heat race tumult. Ron Walborn also comes to considerable grief in the 3rd turn during consolation tumult. After starting 11th, the number 50 of Jim Shuttlesworth takes the lead from pole sitter Tim Wyke before posting the feature win.
You know, you look so super smooth out there and totally the class of the field, and it's tough to outclass a sportsman field.
Well, I'll tell you, hitting this setup, if you're just a tenth faster than everybody, it makes a big difference because everybody's so even in this class. You just got to get edges, and 3/4 of the time we don't get the edge.
The sprinters take the Williams Grove green. Billy Pouch used this hot setup and won his heat race. Cliff Bryan is passing through his frequent crashing stage. Leighton and Len Thompson was running second. Bill Fantasy experiences the reality. It was the 11th lap when the deuce of Jesse Wentz gave up the lead to the 461 of the man, Lance DeWeese. It's Lance's 28th win of the season. The Modifieds make a rare Williams Grove appearance on September 13th. 48 open wheel stockers put on a wild show. However, this, combined with the time wasted on special sprint car time trials, pushed the show well past midnight, much to the chagrin of many modified fans who had a long drive home. $3,000 to win is good pay for the Modifieds. First, you must qualify. Ron Herring gets it up and over. Rory Stackhouse brings out the yellow. Joe Vaccaro makes his first career flip, a wild one. Past sprint car winner here, Scotty Haas, number 78, had to work the lead from Glenn Strunk, number 8, early, and then hold off a late race bid from the 19 of Kenny Brightbill. Welcome back to the Grove, Scotty.
Brightbill led lap 24. You took it back.
We were lucky tonight, that's all I can say.
Young Len Thompson is passing through his frequently upside-down stage. You deserve a break today, Len. Tonight's sprint car action also dumps Dan Richcreek, who mishandles the third turn whoop-de-doos. Dan Dietrich's flip is canceled by Kenny Adams. Greg Labby's racer suffered $1,000 worth of damage in this home run. Lance DeWeese started near the front thanks to time trials, but Billy Pouch had the pole. It didn't take long. Central PA is often called the best local sprint car circuit, but some argue, saying the small, sticky, fast, wheelie-popping bull rings in California are where it's really at. Well, if so, we're catching up, as weekly sprint car racing at Path Valley is becoming reality. Keith Kaufman shows how it's done. Jeff Thomas shows how not. Fresh off Lincoln contact, Todd Gracie and Bill Bryan compose the front row. Gracie's number 25 grabs the lead. Wild Bill takes over in lap traffic on the 5th lap.
Running into number 5 position. Looks like the 12 car of fast.
Keith Kaufman will finish 3rd despite this donut.
Number 59.
Bryan continues to find the holes quick enough to maintain the first position over Gracie until the 26th lap. With no hole available, Wild Bill attempted to drill one with poor results. William Kiley is out for the night, but Bryan would return for a 5th place finish. Todd Gracie tells Bob Johnson about it in Victory Lane.
Well, it was a good race. Lap traffic got a little interesting there for a while. I imagine it made it exciting for the fans, but that's one of them deals. Bill should have probably won that, but that's sometimes you win them, sometimes you don't.
While Path Valley serves as the smallest track on the sprint circuit, it also serves as the largest weekly arena for the micro circuit.
Kenny Ford now. Jeff Backen, look out, upside down. Bob Murray. Big roll down the
back straight.
The Trailway Speedway near Hanover also presents wide open action with the micro sprints. The micro capital, however, is the Clyde Martin Speedway near Ephrata, where over 125 racers compete every Saturday night. Clyde is also the flip capital, with 131 flips in '94 alone.
Qualified car, Kevin St. John. Flip time, the 15E of Sam. Bill Wynn leading that event. Whoa, red flag time way up in the air. Wow. Now looking real sure to get into this field. Chris Coyle, oh my goodness. Haphazardly, whoa, up and over. 17X of Kinsey, whoa, hard over, right in front of him. The 17X of Lee.
The mini sprints continue as the odd class out. The fastest racers of all for their size and weight, the minis continue to search for tracks to race at and a purse. Visits in '94 included Port Royal, Lincoln, and Selinsgrove. The full midgets mix it up at Port Royal. USAC sprint confusion at the paved High Bank Salem Speedway in Indiana. Saturday night stock car action at Port Royal. Sunday morning stock car thrills continue at the port. Trailway stock cars conclude our look at '94 odds and ends. The season finales were wild and very long. Port Royal, Jimmy Schaefer loses a tire during warm-ups. The Tuscarora 50 on September the 9th was delayed by a shower, plus makeup features for street stocks. The final checker will fall at 2:30 a.m. Todd Gracie leads at the start with '94 Port Royal champ Lance DeWeese already in second. Trevor Utt flips. Dan Dietrich catches the inside rail in his new ride and takes Todd Schaefer along. Although hopeful, Todd is out for the night. DeWeese took the lead on the 13th lap for the $8,000 win. Joey Boritz dominated most of the Selinsgrove National, which was rain dated to September 18th. Several flips plus time trial constipation for over 40 sprinters pushed the early starting Sunday night show toward midnight. Troy Camp rolls in the groove before John Becker chases the Groundhogs. Jimmy Nace is clinching the '94 Selinsgrove Point Championship as Jamie Steffi is out of here. Dave Hunn joins the Flippers. Late in the race, Boritz slowed with problems. Todd Schaefer then actually passed Lance DeWeese for his second national win here in a row.
We've only got 9 wins. I think we have like 15 seconds to Freddie and Lance. So we've been right there. We've been consistent and haven't been wrecking a whole lot and not a lot of problems. So, I mean, I owe a lot of credit to the crew.
Even the usually efficient Silver Spring suffered time trial disease for its 100-lapper on September 24th, again forcing the show near midnight. Trouble on the start of the C main. Dave Kalaman will soon be crowned the '94 point champ here. Kevin Berger catches the cushion during the B main. 100 laps to go, and Chris Knopp doesn't even make it to the flag stand. Chris suffered only embarrassment and got right back into the chase. The 77 of Russ Mitten led for 37 laps. Then the 10 of Donnie Beaver took over. On the 86th lap, Jim Shuttlesworth flipped in a third-turn tangle, and leader Beaver could not avoid. Danny Hager inherited the lead for his second career Sportsman 100 win in the Walt Bigler Racer. Lincoln's finale was also on September 24th. Billy Sims does not give up easily. Craig Keel has tire problems. Final Lincoln contact for the year for Bill Bryan and Todd Gracie. Time trials kept the fans up past 1 a.m. and started 94-point champ Fred Raymer on the pole. But you never know. Dan Dietrich, number 8, actually passed Raymer and continued to fast Freddy through lap traffic. Bobby Weaver flips. The restart, and a frustrated Fred Raymer spins a donut in front of the field as daring Dan Dietrich is home free.
You should have seen this place when you took the lead in the second turn or whatever lap it was. How the heck did you get around?
Well, yeah, I just sort of squeezed it in there. I pulled one of those Freddie moves, you know?
The World of Outlaw sanctioned Williams Grove National Open will be another wild 2-day. Make that 3-day event September 30th through October 2nd. Kenny Jacobs is okay. Rain on Saturday night found the track ready at 10:30. Instead of exercising one of several lineup options, the Outlaw time trial mandate held firm, demonstrating that not all colossal ignorance originates in the U.S. Congress. Not only is this in the face of the paying fans, but this sort of social irresponsibility can close racetracks. The checkered would not fall until 3 o'clock Sunday morning. Ed Lynch and Joey Kuhn were flip victims. Sid Blandford finds the whoopie-doos challenging. Stevie Smith's flip gave Dave Thomas's Burger Shack some free publicity. Friday night's feature was led by the number 9 of Greg Hodnett for 5 laps before Lance DeWeese sewed up the Williams Grove Point Championship by giving the Pennsylvania posse their only win against the Outlaws this year.
Well, it feels good. This is my first World Outlaw victory, and it feels good. I tell you what, I don't care if you like them or hate them. They are the best, and I'll tell you what, I like to wish Steve Kinsler the best in NASCAR because he really do good in that, and he's one of the best that's ever driven these things, and I don't care if you boo him or not, he is the best.
Sunday morning, DeWeese led the first half of the 40 laps until the 5 of Mark Kinzer took control. DeWeese later pitted with a flat tire as Mark continued to lead until a last lap restart when he blew an engine. As Mark feels the pain of the worst break of the year, it's that almost magical number 11 at the right place for a $25,000 paycheck.
Just never count you out. Do you have any idea what might have happened to Mark?
No, I don't know, but it's a shame. He had to race one 3 times and still didn't win it. He was definitely the fastest car, and you know, I hate to see him lose it. Of course, I'll take it, I guess, any way I can get it. But well, let's hope I can go down with the Winston Cup guys and run good enough that they'll keep me around for a little bit. It's going to be quite a new experience, especially starting this late in my career. And you know, it's a complete different type of racing, so I'm going to be starting all over again. But I've got a good race team to start with. I guess I'm lucky enough to, if I'm going to have to start, that I'm going to be able to do it full time and devote all my time to it with a good race team. So, you know, I'm looking forward to doing it. And at the same time, I've did this so long, it's going to be sad when I do leave this.
Go, Steve, go. And we will leave you now with micro leftovers.
No spelling errors for you pointy-headed types this year.
Our cameramen are Jeff Hall, Fred Klunk, George Moses, and Todd Oakletree. Our camerina is Claire. Additional help from Rusty Clark and Sports Plus Video. For Port Royal tapes, call Rusty at 717-248-1935. For full race coverage of Williams Grove and Hagerstown, call Sports Plus at 301-223-7318. For Clyde Martin and Path Valley, it's Todd Oakletree at 410-544-3691. Among our friends at the PR desks are Alan Kreitzer, Don and Bob Libby, Wayne Harper, Bobby Grable, Brad Hostetter, Ted Reitz, Steve Inch, Billy Stitt, Ted Schunk, Tom Korpenning, Ray McGee, Jeff Gromis, Joe Padula, Ron Bratton, Astrid Cluck, Bruce Rogers, Ernie Saxton, Bob Miller, Tommy Hines, Joe Schmidtmeyer, Gene Lynch, Jeff Gravitt, Don Gettelfinger Jr., Bill Kaufman, J.D. Esch, and Don Trout. Also thanks to those in charge at Bridgeport, Lernerville, Challenger, Cumberland, Potomac, Knoxville, Fremont, Attica, Sharon, Millstream, KC, Buckeye, Delaware International, and Airport Speedways. Interviews thanks to Bruce Ellis, Steve Inch, Glenn Pressgraves, Tom Little, Wayne Harper, Brian Householder, Jerry Regal, Jeff Alem, Mike Dutko, Alan Kreitzer, and Steve Book. Narrative prepared by Lynn Schaefer.
Congratulations to Bob Fantasy on winning the '94 Super Sportsman Tour Championship, and everyone for another very safe and thrilling season. Enjoy the races before a bankrupt socialistic healthcare bureaucracy proclaims them an unjustifiable expense against the whole of society. And please don't forget to vote for freedom. As our friends in Chicago go for the jugular of crime by closing down phone booths, this is Liberal Bob saying goodbye for the year from the gang at Central Pennsylvania Racing Video. One more time, girls.